So let's take a look at this. I think what we'll do first and foremost is we'll look at Disney's legal troubles straight away. And I think first and foremost, let's look at the fact that Bob Chapek, as well as Disney, has been singled out in a shareholder lawsuit over things we have been saying time and time again. Whenever they do the earnings calls, whenever they do the shareholder calls, we always say this stuff. We're like, some of this doesn't really add up. Some of it sounds like they're manipulating things. Oh, and lo and behold, they're now being sued for it, for misleading streaming losses over exactly what we have said before. So let's take a look, right? A shareholder is suing former CEO, and this is unusual because normally like companies get sued, but not individuals. So the former CEO is being sued, along with Disney, along with former executive Kareem Daniel, and the current CFO, Christy McCarthy, who is slated as being next CEO material. You know, the prodigy of Bob Iger, and basically being sued for violations of securities law for misleading statements about Disney Plus and the health of the streaming business. So there was a lawsuit filed by a local 272 labor management pension fund in Central District of California. And here's the complaint: seeking a jury trial. We're not going to look at that overall complaint, but here's the headline.
It's long.
Yeah, it's really long. But this is everything we've been saying. So defendants throughout the class period made false and or misleading statements and or failed to disclose that Disney Plus was suffering decelerating subscriber growth, losses, and cost overruns. The true costs incurred in connection with Disney Plus have been concealed by Disney executives. We have literally said this. We've gone on record and we've literally said this before.
Yep.
By debuting certain content intended for Disney Plus initially on Disney's legacy distribution channels, and then making the shows available on Disney Plus thereafter to improperly shift costs out of the Disney Plus segment, even though they're made for Disney Plus. So you got profit and loss. It will come under Disney Plus, but they're like, we'll just mask this. That's literally what they're doing. They're just masking it by debuting it elsewhere and then putting it on Disney Plus.
Yeah. I'd say there could be arguments made the other way too, but go on. I'm interested.
Yeah, absolutely. And so basically, Disney had made platform distribution decisions based not on consumer preference, consumer behavior, or the desire to maximize the size of audience for the content as represented, but based on the desire to hide the full costs of building Disney Plus's content library. And Disney was not on track to achieve even the reduced 2024 Disney Plus paid global subscriber and profitability targets. Such targets were not achievable, and such estimates lacked a reasonable basis in fact.
Yeah.
Fucking mic drop. What do we think of that? Because everything we've been saying for ages.
Right. Yeah. No, it's 110% everything that each one of us and more have been saying for so long. Yeah.
Well, and then you had Bob unable to keep his mouth closed, a week ago, coming out and saying that, a lot of the content we made didn't generate subscriber numbers. Well, no crap. And then they reiterate that here in this suit. He just came out and said it.
Yeah.
Good gravy.
So funny. It's so funny.
Oh, 39 pages, which means there's plenty of material in here. And I mean, these are just the primary items, right? That's what we're getting. This is the summary, that they seek to prove in trial, which they're going to, and they're going to try to get this thing thrown out of court. But I'm going to tell you, consumer lawsuits, especially when it comes from shareholders now, they're being taken rather seriously. This looks like a problem.
So is this something you actually think they may have a chance of getting? Because I was curious if they would even have a shot. I mean, I believe them. I mean, I'm not going to say I don't, because like you guys said, we've seen all the evidence in the world that we need to see, and we're not even close to, a lot of these folks who have more access to some of this stuff. But usually these kind of, because I remember, wasn't there a case like this a year or two ago, Culture, similar to this, that just kind of went nowhere?
No, actually, there's a live case that came out last year, December.
Okay, I didn't know. Yeah, I was gonna say I hadn't heard nothing about it.
That's another shareholder case. It's in a different place, and that one I think was filed. I don't think it was filed in California, but it's a 22-page filing from this guy named Kenneth Simone, who's a substantial investor, and he's seeking. He's seeking records is what he's seeking, and if he gets those, he gets that kind of transparency, there's going to be a real problem. He is demanding, because of the don't say gay thing that they were saying, the parental rights bill, which is what it was, that they need to turn over their internal records about its opposition to a law limiting the instruction.
No, I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about, this was a different one.
Okay.
Related. It was very similar to this. Maybe I'm wrong, or maybe it was related to this initial filing, but.
Well, I mean, the books and records they go after all the time when they have a financial complaint. But go ahead,
yeah.
Tom. Sorry. Yeah, but no, they've been getting sued pretty regular by people and stockholders. And and Nelson Peltz just upped his investment in Disney.
Did he? I did not know that.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the.
Why on earth would he do that?
I'm trying to find the SEC filing. As soon as I find that, and I verify
that means he knows something we don't. That's why.
That's got to be. That's got to be a hostile move, I would imagine. Surely,
yeah.
Well, he has to be. Look, Disney lied to him. And he didn't get all of what he wanted. I think he really is going to go after all of what he wants now, and he's got friends with lots of money. And Ike Perlmutter is so pissed off. I mean, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. But it does relate to this. And again, they're going to have an easy time with this, Nate, because, like I said, and I just said it. Iger just admitted none of the content he made drove subscribers. He came out and said it.
Yeah.
Well, they're all admitting it's a loss leader finally, which is what we've been saying from the start.
Yeah. Well, they say this anyway, just to put it into perspective. Attempted class action suits are filed frequently when share prices fall sharply, and often they don't advance. A specialized law firm brings the case on behalf of one or more stockholders. In this case, seeking a larger shareholder to join as lead plaintiff, and other holders to adhere to the suit as well. A judge must approve the class action status. While similar in so many ways to so many of the shareholder suits, this case is somewhat notable for calling out high-profile executives and the streaming red ink that's been the talk of the entertainment industry for the past year and continues to grab headlines. So it's pretty particular. It's pretty specific.
Well, and another thing I could see is if this actually gains any kind of momentum, I could see a lot of other investors for the other studios going after them over their streaming business.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got HBO Max. I mean, that's
well, especially Paramount. I was thinking of.
Yeah, true. Well, that's
HBO Max is like the only one that might have a chance, and like not really, because they have. I think they've managed to hit most of their.
But I think this is more oriented around public statements made by the executives.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't remember Zaslav going off in the in certain directions. I'd have to go look, but.
As far as I'm aware, from anything we've heard of, like Warner Brothers calls,
WB's hit over expectations. That's what I was getting at. Yeah.
Well, it's not even that, right? Like it's more specifically is that they're very honest. Like, and you see that because the headlines are not great. They're like, yeah, we're losing money. Yeah.
Well, Zaslav hasn't been candy coating anything. You're right. No, that's very true.
Exactly. And this is what they're going after. They're going after the fact that it's manipulation, isn't it? So the share, it's misleading information being pushed out there, and then their investment in Disney suffers as a result of that. Yeah. So that's why they're going after them, because it's damages based around that. But it's not good. Like it's not good. I mean, it's hilarious because we've been saying this for ages. We're like, they're pushing stuff out made for Disney Plus, but put it on other platforms. And now, I remember specifically
we did talk about it that they were taking like a series and they were putting the first episode on what do they call Freeform, which is, I guess, we used to be Disney Family, and then they would move the balance of it over to Disney Plus. Again,
they hide the cost by putting it somewhere else first, even though it was made for and under the remit of a Disney Plus. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
It is. It's blatant manipulation. I know Tom was talking about it at length. I mean, we definitely covered it here more than a few times. That's how they're bearing the cost for this. You know, imagine that they came up with a record like $1.47 billion in wasted money on streaming for Disney Plus in one earnings call. Holy crap. And if that wasn't everything, if they had shunted more responsibility over to Freeform or something else,
that is stated in this lawsuit, that 1.47 billion.
This is one of those times they're not going to be able to hide it.
But
it feels like walls are kind of caving in, right? Between the $6 billion deal, the whistleblower, the cadre or whatever word you want to put in there of lawsuits they're facing, the horrible last 2 earnings calls and stuff like that,
apart by shareholders,
and shareholder calls was just, oh god, like at this point, I mean,
so bad.
They're just basically the only thing you need now is like another Me Too incident or something like that high up in the ranks to really make this cook, right? Like it would make it just like of course, the cherry on the top here,
But don't you think that McCarthy's like the person in big trouble now?
The current CFO, isn't she? So not only what is interesting, is it? So like Disney as a unit are being sued in this lawsuit.
Yeah.
Bob Chapek has been singled out. So the headlines are like Bob Chapek is sued. No, Disney is actually being sued as well. But the only person that's still there is McCarthy.
Yeah.
So it's not going to look great on her at all because she's being painted as the future CEO.
And she's the only constant. And she's responsible
that is true, actually,
for financial reporting. And she's consulted by the CEO before they make any statements of guidance. And
she was the one that ousted Bob Chapek as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she was definitely, centered in that. Indeed. Wow. Yeah.
God, what a shit show.
She's not going to be the CEO. This is not good.
No. Absolute just... hilarious. I mean, it is hilarious. It's one of those things you just like, couldn't happen to a worse company. Who cares? Like I don't, it's stuff we've all been saying for so long, and now it comes in the headlines. You're like, okay then. This is interesting. It's actually happening.
Isn't this the part of the show where Razor Fist spins around in a chair and says, "F you, I was right. F you."
Super funny. Super funny. Yeah, couldn't happen to a worse company. Couldn't happen to a worse company, let's be honest.